How can you kind of implement a mindfulness way of thinking into also reducing anxiety and burnout?
I definitely agree that mindfulness is huge. In fact, again, in my book, there's a whole chapter about mindfulness as metacognition, which is actually thinking about your thoughts. And in mindfulness training, there are 3 levels of mindfulness: mindfulness of an object, which is where we just learn how to study an object and describe it very vividly. And then mindfulness of a semi-tangible object, such as our breath, where we do a breathing exercise and we learn to describe what that felt like. And what that helps us then graduate to is the 3rd level of mindfulness, which is mindfulness of what they call abstract objects, like our thoughts and our feelings. And what's really interesting, in like Harvard Medical School, Johns Hopkins, many prestigious places have also shown what the Buddhist literature has always said, is that when we do practice, as Melissa was saying, for example, having a mindful meal and really noticing our reactions to that, we're not only in the moment, just having a nice, relaxing experience, but we are building our powers of self-observation. And so it sounds crazy, but studies show it's true, that by practicing learning to observe how you're noticing this spicy food and what it feels like, that actually trains your executive lobe of your brain to the next day at work notice, oh, I'm going into people-pleasing mode, or gee, I notice I'm going into a fault-finding mode. So by learning to observe and describe physical sensations, you actually become better able to just observe and describe your internal thoughts and feelings. And of course, then you can understand why that translates to lower stress, as well as the ability to communicate more seamlessly with your team, right? So to be able to, we've all seen people who just have that gift of grace that they're able to say at a meeting like, oh my goodness, I can't believe I forgot those papers I was supposed to bring. It's been a really hectic morning or whatever. And they have that metacognition to even realize it was a hectic morning and to verbalize it and help other people to understand the moment that they are having internally. Whereas somebody who doesn't have those skills isn't even really putting the forgotten papers into that particular context. And they're just mentally freezing. And they're just like, I don't have the papers. And so that's just it's an example of how building those mindfulness metacognition skills helps us in so many ways. I'm also just going to chat to the group here, a link, drchloe.com/breathe, where I do free, videos of breathing exercises, guiding and connecting the dots to people of how doing that exercise actually bridges you into, metacognition, mindful awareness of your more abstract thoughts and feelings and how you can communicate them to others.
Thanks. That's super interesting. Thanks for sharing all that. That's cool.